Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Harry and this is
Ethne.
a little bit of background. I'm from NUS National University of Singapore
And
and
I'm doing MArch 1 at Yale University.
and today we're going to be talking about a little more controversial conversation about I guess the corruption in architecture, you could say, and how our personal experience in the architecture degree.
Yeah.
How about we start off with why we chose architecture to begin with?
Okay, I guess everyone who chose architecture to begin with obviously loved architecture. In my case, I loved designing and drawing since I was in like middle school, high school, and architecture was just always the way to go. I loved Zaha Hadid, she was my idol, and I just really wanted to build good architecture when I started this year.
Yeah, so actually for me, on the other hand, I never really considered architecture to begin with. I was actually applying for design and computing and all that, and product design for my bachelor's. But then I
Yeah.
actually took architecture for bachelor's instead, because I think that architecture, it kind of grew on me, because the thought of architecture leaving behind something on this world when we pass or whatever is quite a nice kind of.
It's a nice idea.
Yeah,
It
nice
looks
of
longer
idea,
than
yeah.
usual. I think we all started with like how interesting it looks
Yes.
aesthetically, but then we got really interested into the the human aspect to it and how it can benefit the society.
Yep, and I love how architecture is pushing the boundaries and saying
Yeah.
a building for humans is not just enough. It needs to actually accommodate much more broader situations like climate change, global warming. How can we
Exactly.
incorporate biophilic designs to also play a contribution in a positive way to this world?
Architecture is never just about the building. It's about a way of living, establishing new relationships, connections, and really just building bridges between different fields in this world.
Yes.
So, however, after our bachelor's degree, we both had a little bit of work experience and have gone through some of the, would you say corruptions?
Yes,
No.
corruption, the ups and downs of architecture. I guess we can start off with the student life and how, like, what changes we would make and like the negatives around that. So if you're planning on studying architecture, we'll just be brutal and be honest
Yeah.
about what is not working right, like what's wrong with architecture. So first of all-nighters is the culture in architecture. Why do we have to suffer so much in doing all-nighters and all that?
I've actually heard about it before entering architecture school, which is that architecture is hard to study, you stay up all night a lot of the times. I personally didn't believe it, but it was proven to be true in most of the good architecture schools in the world. It's not that we don't plan our time well, it's not that we don't have good management, but I think there's this culture of pushing your design to the best it can be until the moment before
Yes.
deadline.
And design is so broad. There's no right or wrong answer to it. Like for architecture, architecture design has no boundaries. There's no finish line to a design. And when a lot of other classmates and students are doing all-nighters, it kind of pressures you to be like, oh, am I not trying hard enough? Like, should I also be doing all-nighters? And I think that is a very bad
Which was also, I actually think it was reduced since last semester we were studying online due to the pandemic, and I couldn't physically see my peers working late night next to me. So that actually helped me to get away from this peer pressure of joining the all-nighter club. However, I do feel like this tradition carries to the workplace as well in a lot of the large firms in architecture. We're not criticizing this, like every firm has their own way of operating, own work culture. However, a healthy work-life balance seemed to be difficult for a lot of architects for some strange reason.
Yeah, so I would say that all-nightering in the student life, I guess it's could potentially also be because of like changes in design last minute, so you just gotta pull that all-nighter to just change your design. But in comparison to the work life, I guess a lot of companies are kind of being pressured to finish work quickly to get a new client and all that, and like deadlines are piling up and all that.
However, I feel like we are currently going through this transition from a somewhat traditional way of practicing architecture to this new digital age, which is still forming with all the rising in BIM softwares and like synchronous modeling tools. I feel like in the next 10 or 20 years, there should probably be a dramatic shift in the way architects work, which is in the transition right now. And both of us actually hate this like intense work culture in architecture. It's not healthy in the long run.
It's not healthy at all. Yeah.
Yeah. So you, as an architecture student, like, you do have the choice to not to be like that. However, it's likely to get peer pressured in the early stages and just question yourself when you're the odd one out who isn't doing that.
So I guess like that is a change that I hope like would change in the future. That
Definitely.
all-nighter is not a norm, should not be a norm. So yeah, this is kind of like the main.
It's a main stereotype which
Yeah.
is proven to be true, unfortunately.
But other than that, I'll say that architecture is really fun, creative, explorative, and you can really
Yeah.
express yourself in this.
Yeah, it not only teaches you knowledge, but it helps you to develop as your own character, I guess, by choosing what you want to impact onto the society and really allowing you to develop lots of skill sets, including
Definitely.
communication, presentation, and I guess
It's not
yeah.
just about designing itself. Architecture also helps you develop in problem solving, how you
Yeah.
can solve problems, not just like for architecture and human needs and all that, but also, like I said earlier, climate change and all that.
there are also lots of directions within architecture that you can go to in like your later phases of study or when you go to work. Like you can choose to be technical and go into the software digital development of this age, but you can also have the opportunity to go into literature or the history and theory side of it, which I think would end up in very different path in architecture.
So this could probably conclude our video on this.
Yeah.
Our thoughts on architecture and the direction it's going. All that there's good and bad to architecture.
Definitely.
Definitely. So,
You should just follow your heart and choose whatever you
Yeah.
won't regret in the near future.
but being mindful that there are all-nighters and you might need to do them. It's your
Please
choice at the end of the day if you
Please
want
don't.
to change this work culture or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel. I'm Asni Sue, and yeah, if you guys have any comments, comment down below. And
Tell us what you want to hear next. So thanks for watching, guys,
Thank
and
you
see
for
you
watching.
soon.
Bye.